And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of Sparkling Tuna Cup number 71, the PTR edition. We have a fresh best of 3 for you, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Snowpiercer, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss. In-game, he might be called Classic, but not quite. It is Zoun. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran. The blue Terran, representing Hyper 1, it is HonMonO. Do need a moment here to set up the predictions in the chat so you can get your gamba going and place your bets on who you think will take the series. Do need a moment to set that up. Likewise, I will also adjust the in-game UI. Not confusing at all, Zoun for naming himself after his favorite player. At least he has the in-game clan Zoun, so that does help things a little bit. But shaking my head. Here we go. I got you. There we go. Does that mean, does Azura have to be the #1 classic fan? Is that what? Is that how that goes? As I do see HonMonO going to be opening up 2 racks. Meanwhile, the probes got into the main base, does confirm. And also, welcome one and all to for the first time tonight, Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Likewise, a lot more wide open in the center of the map as well. A little more macro-oriented, and with the scouts, HonMonO, he cancels the second racks. Ooh, so his initial opener is going to be disrupted, and he's going to try and play out some mind games here and try to fake out Zoun. But there we go. If you're in the chat's predictions open is second time. I think the game 1 of the night was on Snowpiercer, but that didn't count. Like, who remembers game 1? Aye. But predictions open, place your bets on who you think will take the series. Coming into this, I still have a really hard time placing Zoun when it comes to his skill level. I do think that Zoun has some killer PvP. Like, his PvP is by far his best matchup, and he has comparable PvP with some of the other Korean Protoss players out there, like Hero, like Trap, like Nightmare, and Classic. I do think that Zoun is quite comparable in that matchup, at least. When it comes to the other matchups, I'm a little bit less convinced. I'm less convinced currently, so we'll see. We'll see if Zoun can excel where some other Protosses have struggled here against HonMonO. But now HonMonO is going for a more delayed CC in the main. Remember, we had the initial 2 racks opener that was disrupted. HonMonO going to be transitioning or deviating away into his 2-base setup. Demi versus Rebellion played it? Yeah. That's what I mentioned. Game 1. Was it game 1 of the broadcast? But here we go. The Adept does get behind the mineral line. Oh! Gets a full scouts. Fun fact, the Adept does confirm the Rax is missing. So he confirms that it was a fault that we did attempt to transition. HonMonO getting into his 1-1-1 with the CC. As one SCV goes down. Nice pick off. Zoun gets the initial SCV. Behind this, going for his own Robo opener. Very safe play here from our Korean Protoss player, with this opening up Prism to move out across the map to harass in the mineral line. I mean, we saw how effective Cristiano was with his Adept harass, and we'll see what Zoun gets done as he moves out with a Stalker initially. Moves out with a Stalker. Likewise, HonMonO building up. A 3-1-1 setup as well. But now just focusing on his marine production. He's got his 1 Cyclone as well, moving out with his own drop. As he moves out, Zoun moves in. Ooh, and the warp in is out of range. Going for an extra Stalker. Dipping into the mineral line, delaying some of the production. Gets 1, gets a second SCV. Not bad. Oh! Getting a 3rd, getting a 4th SCV. Very nice. Gets 4 CV kills. Zoun backs off at the same time, drop into the main. And does Zoun have anything in position? The Immortal is still a ways off. And the pylon's going to go down. The Immortal does pop in. Oh! Just in time. We'll be able to defend. Second Immortal comes in as well. And Zoun shouldn't lose too much more. I mean, his production is going to be delayed, but he does defend. Same time harassing the natural. Threatens a shade. Attempting to pull HonMonO apart. So far unable to. HonMonO, he spots the prism. He wants it. Doesn't quite get it. HonMonO pulls back. Let's pull back home. Meanwhile, I mean, it was a river opener with that, going into a bay, going into Colossus production. Zoun just building up. Getting into his own 2-base Colossus play. Still yet to expand and take a third, just now doing so. Bit of a delayed third in favor of faster Colossus production. So again, just really safe play from Zoun. Not taking too many risks. And really, we're just waiting for HonMonO's move outs. I mean, sure, like, Zoun, he's building up, expanding, getting a third base, getting more Colossus. HonMonO, we're waiting for him to pull the boys. That's what I'm waiting for. He's got his 3-1-1 setup. Does HonMonO commit to a 2-base all-in, or does he expand? That's always the question for HonMonO in the TVP matchup. He's got a couple of Vikings on the way, building up energy on the Raven. No disable on the Raven, bear that in mind, just for detection, just auto turrets and anti-arm missile. Still building up. Meanwhile, Zoun is teching, getting into his Forge for upgrades, getting into his Temple Archives for Storm and Archons. And here comes the move out. HonMonO fanning out a couple of units here looking for the War Prism. Observer, ooh, does spot the move out as well. And here come the boys, because of course they come. It's HonMonO. He has to pull the boys at least once in a series. Is going for the 2-base all-in as he moves out. Drop moves in. Not as many SCVs to kill, but he does pick up a couple of workers. A couple of SCVs are going down. Back at home, Zoun, he's got one shield battery ready. He's got one shield battery. He's got a couple of force fields. Does have the energy overcharge. Gets a feedback. Gets a feedback on one medevac. HonMonO pushing in. This third base is quite wide open, busting to the mineral line. Probes are falling. Only getting a couple of probes so far, but he does bring down the base. Nexus falls, and so will the shield batteries. And Zoun is up against the wall. Shield batteries are soon to be depowered. And Zoun has to back off. He backs off to the natural. At the same time, 21 SCVs have fallen. Every worker here at the natural. HonMonO, he was already all in, now even more all in. He may have brought down the third, but now he needs a natural. Still not enough. Zoun gets one tank, gets a second. Oof, Colossus falls. Yeah, the Vikings, they go ham. They're going for the other Colossus. They barely don't get it. That final Colossus survives. Tanks edging closer towards the natural. Zoun buying time for extra warp ins. That final Colossus so close to going down. A couple more volleys. Oh! Doesn't get them. The juggling got us out. Saves a Colossus. Does save it. He's collapsing in. And charge kicks in. Gets on top of the tanks. Colossus goes down. But the tanks are exposed. It looks like Zoun, he does have enough. He breaks through the tank line. Gets on top of the army. And he holds. Barely does hold on. Again, a very patient play by Zoun as well. Using the third base just to buy time. He did not commit to a fight. Pulled back to his natural, waited for extra warp ins, topped up his army with a shield battery, and defend. And he does defend. So again, just really patient play from Zoun. And with that, what does HonMonO have left? He's down to 26 SCVs. Mules are good, but they're not that good. They're not that good, Papi. Aye, aye, aye. Zoun pushing in, getting some of the Vikings. Boys are being pulled to defend. Zoun waiting for reinforcements. Taking his third, taking up into disruptors, and Zoun backs off. I was curious if he had to preserve that War Prism, but the War Prism did go down. Without reinforcements, Zoun, he cannot break the natural, so he will retreat. Does retreat, double expanding, getting a third and a fourth bait at the same time. And right now the pressure is on HonMonO. If he doesn't make something happen here, if he doesn't get into mineral lines, if he doesn't kill any probes, if he doesn't deny bases, then he will be left behind. Zoun will snowball out of control with a greater economy if the game goes that long. That's a big if, though. HonMonO stimming in, gets eyes on the fourth. And can he force a cancel? Looks like he can. Not bad. Cancels the fourth expansion. Gets a pylon. Drags the army over. Remember, though, Zoun, he's already got a third on the way. Double expand. Dropping into the main. Getting a stalker. Sniping a couple of pylons. Forcing a recall. Yeah, not bad. Doesn't lose much of anything. So this is good value for HonMonO. And back at home, he should be getting ready for a second all-in. I mean, again, HonMonO, if you haven't watched him before, if the first all-in fails, try again. And keep pulling the boys. I mean, we've seen HonMonO win games where his all-ins fail, but then the third time he pulls the boys, he breaks the portals. Like, it's happened before. It's crazy. Give HonMonO a mineral line and he'll make some magic happen. Meanwhile, snipes a couple of stalkers, but not the best trade here from HonMonO. At the same time, dropping on the right-hand side, but the main army's in position. Yeah, Zoun, he defends. Does save his third, doesn't lose much of anything. Bled out a couple of stalkers earlier. My biggest concern would be if Zoun was a little bit too greedy and teched up too hard. HonMonO does break out. The medevacs! Oh! Oh my god. They do barely get out. HonMonO doesn't lose anything yet. Pulls back home to repair. Meanwhile, the main army of Zoun is being refined. He's got 3 Immortals, building up his Disruptor count as well. Dark Shrine is on the way. I do like the DTs in this position just because scans are quite limited. Like, HonMonO, he is muling his heart out. He's only got 2 orbitals, so scans are more of a luxury for him. And there we go, the boys are being pulled. The Observer does spot the move out. Zoun knows. Zoun is getting in position, and here come those Disruptors. He's getting the Novas ready. Speaking of, first Nova goes up. Up! No major connections yet. Grazing the army. Takes down 2 SCVs. No big connections. There's 1 Nova left. Oh, the splits are good. Does avoid the shot for the most part. Does lose some Marines. HonMonO pushing in. Good EMP. But there still just might be too much on the ground. Yeah, the supply doesn't lie. Not in this position. As Zoun he overwhelms, GG gets called, and Zoun will take game number 1. GG. Does take the first game. Again, the scariest moment was the initial all-in, but remember, Zoun, he was already wreaking havoc across the map, killing SCVs with the Adept Harass. Likewise, he spotted the move out, he was getting ready back at home, and again, Zoun, he was so quick to just give up on the third. Just give up on the third base, just let it go down, just used it to buy time, wait for extra warp ins, wait for reinforcements, and have a better fight at the natural instead. And with that, Zoun takes a lead, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. All in? Yeah, he's all in. It's all or nothing. So someone asking, did Zoun come back to the military recently? Yes, he came back, we say recently, like 2 months ago at this point. I think it's been around 2 months, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but around that time. Since he has been back, he has been progressing, he has been improving in that time, of course, and we'll see how he does settle. For now, though, we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing himself, currently teamless, back from the military. It is Zoun. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Hyper 1. Down in the series, we'll see if we can force the ace match. It is HonMonO. Here we go. The SCV's mission was to fight all along. They're battle SCVs. In the hands of HonMonO, they are. That is their purpose. That is their mission. That is their goal. And again, he's known for being hyper-aggressive, specifically in this matchup. You know, I don't want to say that that's the case in every matchup. He does more often macro against Terran players and Zerg players. Oh my god. As the workers do survive. But specifically against Protoss, HonMonO often does all in. We don't often see macro games out of him. Every now and then, it's quite rare, but we do see him, you know, get a third and actually make more than 40 SCVs. It's crazy. Does do it, you know, from time to time, but again, it's more of the exception than the norm. As Zoun dips in, he was denied the scout, he was fully walled up, and HonMonO is going to be opening up with a single gas geyser. Rax Expand, economic opener here out of HonMonO. So far, so good. You can see that Zoun is scouting, is looking for the proxy. Again, HonMonO has a reputation, and upon seeing nothing across the map, Zoun is paranoid. He's paranoid, he's looking for, you know, something like a proxy Marauder, proxy Reaper, proxy Factory. Zoun just being as safe as possible. But did not make the initial Zealot. Did you go Stalker first? Safety shield over here on the low ground. We'll see what HonMonO is going to get up to, as he does throw down an extra Rax, throws down a Factory, and he might just go for a third Rax before Starport. If he does, it's going to be a 2-base all-in. Just because you do heavily delay your Starport, and you go for a delayed medevac production in favor of faster stim, faster combat shields, faster or more heavy bio production first, into delayed medevacs. Which would typically lead into an all-in, where you pull the boys. Hallucination moving out across the map. We'll get eyes on the production setup here of the initial 2-1. Okay, never mind. I assumed it was going to be a third Rax, but no, it's going to be a Starport. It's going to be a 2-1-1. Interesting. This is an opener. This is a build that you very rarely see in this matchup, and the Hallucination sees everything. Zoun, he's fully aware of the bio commitment of the sim timing. Now, we should be seeing a reactor and an add-on swap. Yep, there we go. Reactors on the way into an add-on swap into double medevac production. And HonMonO is going to be going for a stim timing. And this has potential for damage. The downside, of course, is that you're going to be lacking any kind of factory support, delayed tank production, no cyclones, no widow mines, no early Raven, just pure marine. It's purely man with gun. And back at home, Zoun playing it safe. Just chilling out, going for the robo first, safety immortal. Into his own blink. Observer's getting in position to scout the move out. And HonMonO should soon be moving out with the arrival of the medevacs. They're halfway done. Halfway done at this point. Observer sees everything. Zoun is aware. HonMonO moves out. The Observer does at least confirm that the Marines are missing, so we can piece 2 and 2 together. Yep, only 1 Marine left. So the drop should be somewhere. And you can see Zoun getting in position. There we go. He's ready in the main. There's 4 Stalkers in the main, the rest of the army here at the natural. Zoun doesn't exactly know where the drop is going to hit, but is getting ready. He is getting ready nonetheless. As the medevacs are revealed. The 1 pylon is going to get picked up. Not bad. Gets a pylon. The army comes in from behind. Nice force field. And HonMonO, he's forced back, bleeding out. So many Marines there. That was how many Marines going down? 10! 10 Marines for one pylon. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, not worth it for HonMonO. Classic now taking a third. And the question becomes, as HonMonO will find the Observer and barely, does snipe it. But the question becomes, does HonMonO pull the boys? Do I even have to ask that question? Of course he will, right? Yeah, let's go. It's HonMonO, pop. It's all he does. Let's go. The boys are being pulled. And it's all or nothing for HonMonO. Now, again, Zoun is in the dark, but he scouts. Hallucination does confirm the move out. He does see the SCVs as well. He knows. He's getting ready. Storm is finishing up in 5 seconds. It's close. It will finish up in time, just barely. But he needs a couple more seconds. There we go. He's going to have 3 storms. And he has to make them count. He doesn't want to waste them. HonMonO with a pre-spread. Prism coming in. Ready for those storms. First storm does graze a good portion of the Marines. Not bad. Second storm as well. There's 2 storms left. The energy overcharge. Let's go. The power behind it. Instant storms. That was so cool. Let's go. The energy overcharge coming to play. Massive storms do connect. And now he has even more storms than he would otherwise have. With an instant full NG High Templar. Oh my god. Almost gets sniped. He has to be careful. Another storm does zone. 15 SCVs go down. He has one more storm in the chamber. But the tanks, they're gaining ground. They're pushing into the natural. Third base is going to fall. The third base, remember, it doesn't matter. Third base does not matter. It's about the natural. Bunkers are almost done. Zelda coming from the flank. Ooh, High Templar does get picked up. No storm. There's no storm left. HonMonO, does he break through? 1, 2 tanks fall. There's 1 tank left. Zoun, he pulls back. Does energy overcharge the shield battery. He's barely holding on. It looks like he will. Gets on top of the tank, shuts it down as well. Zoun holds. That was cool. We saw the energy overcharge on the High Templar. We saw it on the shield battery as well. Because of that, he had extra storms, or more storms than normal. And he shuts down the all-in. And remember, it wasn't all-in. I mean, I say that HonMonO, he's able to replenish some of his SCVs. Throws down the Ghost Academy. I mentioned before that HonMonO, even if he doesn't get you with the first boy pool, he's going to be getting ready for a second boy pool as well. But it's going to be that much weaker. I mean, he's down to 1 tank. He's crazy. He's expanding. Third CC's on the way. Hon Macro, is that you? We almost never see you. Is going to attempt to macro out of this. But remember, Zoun, he saved the third. That's the problem. Zoun, he saved the third base. He's up 20 workers. Zoun is miles ahead. So even though HonMonO, he isn't necessarily dead, but he's limping along a little bit here. He's struggling. There's a lot of pressure on HonMonO to get some counter damage. Things are looking bleak for the Terran. As here comes the counter attack, and as Zoun moves out, as Zoun moves in, HonMonO moves out. Like, the Marines are not at home to defend, the tanks are exposed, the Observer does confirm this, and there's nothing at home. There's nothing at home to defend. Zealot's charge on 4, they take down both tanks. And everything else as well. And remember, Zoun, he can always recall. He can always recall back home if he needs to. The Doom Drop comes in, there's the recall. Oh my god, Prism does fall. Not a bad pickoff, but again, because of the recall, Zoun is safe. Zoun is perfectly safe back at home. GG, good luck gets called, and Zoun will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, congratulations, Zoun will take it again, able to showcase the power of the energy overcharge, but bearing in mind as well that it is also very specific to the build that Zoun was going for. If Zoun did not have his High Templar out in time for that push, if he didn't have them ready with those storms, and for the overcharge I should emphasize, then would have been a very different kind of hold for Zoun. But GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. And again, I do appreciate that clearly Zoun, I mean, this is not his first PTR tournament. Zoun has been very active in the PTR events, whether it comes to the Pigosaur Cup or the KSRC. So he has been active when it comes to practicing and getting testing done on the PTR. Very nicely done. Very nice performance, GG. GG well played. Zoun will advance on to the grand finals, and the question becomes, who will be our champion this week? It's going to be a PvT between Zoun and Nicorette. Let's go.